In this video, we're going to take a look at our feature definitions for our point features that we've placed. We've placed a right-of-way property corner, and then we've also placed a signage, a sign and stop sign in this file, and these will be written into your DGen Lib. So if I select on our geometry property corner, or the sign or stop sign, that would bring up the dialog, properties dialog or property menu of our feature definition. And under the point tab, that's going, the parameter for point feature symbology is pointing to the symbology definition that we're going to take a look at in this video. So we'll go down to our feature symbologies category that has a point subcategory, and then in the point category it has a folder of right away, which we see our geometry property corner, point, and feature symbology that we have. We also have a signage folder under the point that has our two signs in there, our sign and stop sign. So if you click on the geometry property corner, that will bring up the dialog for the feature symbology that we'll be going over. The first tab that we're going to take a look at is the selection tab that has the parameter of name, and of course that will be the name of the element that is selected. In our case, this one is geometry, and if I select the other points, we'll see that the name changes. We'll go back to the geometry property corner. The defaults tab has a parameter of default element template. Default element template to place the point in all views. And one thing to keep in mind is we always want to set the default element template, but anything below the default, such as plan, profile, and 3D, are going to be used as overrides to the default. That'll bring us to the plan tab that has two parameters. One is annotation group and the other is element template. And annotation group will define the point's data if we have an annotation group associated to it. If we wanted to see, say, the point name, maybe it's XY, different information that we could annotate, we would attach an annotation group to it. And annotation groups will be in another video series. And of course we have the element template that if we wanted our point to look different than our default, we would set that in here. In our case, we're matching what is in the default. That'll take us to the profile tab that also has two parameters, an annotation group and element template. And again, if we wanted our point to be annotated in our profile, we would set an annotation group here. And if we wanted our point to look different in our profile view, we would set an element template here as well. That brings us to our final tab, which is the 3D tab, which has one parameter of element template. And if we wanted our point to be displayed in 3D, if we had a 3D cell, which we do for our stop sign over in our 3D view, we would set an element template here. And that would be how the element used to draw the point in the 3D view. If we go to our sign or stop sign, we'll see that those categories are filled out. So in the case of our signage and our sign and stop sign, we have the same parameters in the dialog in the same tabs, but we also have a 3D tab with an element template for a 3D sign. So that's how our 3D sign is getting in our 3D view from our element templates. So let's take a quick look at our element templates. If I go to the manager, and in our library, or the file that we're in, this would be done in our library, we have a points category and then our element templates subfolders of signage and right away. And again, on these, this is our stop sign. So we have a 2D element template and a 3D element template because we have two different cells. But again, our element template will set our general settings such as levels and the attributes, color, line, style, and weight. And then if we have additional settings that we want, such as a cell, we can set our cell in the element template as well. And if I select on our stop sign 3D, we'll see that that has general settings that our element templates are calling, such as levels, colors, styles, and weight. And then we also have a cell settings tab where we would have an active cell for a 3D cell. So that's how it's placing that 3D cell in the 3D view. So that is the feature symbologies of a point feature that will then point to our element templates.